And welcome back to the Murdy Creative Co podcast. I'm your host, Colin Murdy, and today's topic is a new way to shop. But first, I want to say thank you to everyone who's supported the company so far. If you haven't got a chance, go check us out on the web at murdycreative.co. That's M-U-R-D-Y creative.co. Or you can check us out on all of our social medias. Check out our website to get all of the details, and be sure to join our Discord server if you haven't already. We really appreciate all of you who've been there and talked with us and get a behind-the-scenes look. Also, if you want to share the company with your friends and family and get a little something for doing that, be sure to join our collabs program, murdycreative.co/collabs, to sign up for that. So with this new website overhaul, it's brought up a lot of philosophical questions, right, writ large. And every time I do this website redesign, I keep kind of circling back to the same ideas over and over, but I never implement them. Mostly because a lot of the implementation to them has a lot of inherent complexity to it. However, the fact that I keep coming back to them means that there probably is something to it. Years ago, I said, we need to build our website to mirror the social media platform Pinterest. And I stand by that concept. And here's what, for those of you who haven't been on Pinterest before, if you look at the desktop site, it's like a picture board. The idea is that it's like as if you were looking on a board, on a tack board with all sorts of pictures on it. That's the concept. And as you scroll down, it just continues on forever and ever. There's just more pictures that load. They're related to each other. They're related to what you like. They're related to things you pinned in the past. It's a kind of a cool social media concept. And it was very popular for a long time. It's still pretty popular, but it's waned a little bit in recent years. But the idea that they kind of pioneered, in my opinion, is the idea of the uneven picture grid. So when you look at Pinterest, when you're scrolling at it on your phone or when you're on the desktop version, the grid of pictures isn't equal in dimensions. They're not all square and the same height. And why that matters is because it means that you always can kind of see the next one as you're scrolling through. On mobile, it's 2 columns side by side normally. On desktop, like I said, it's a variety. It's a whole bunch of columns, right? And so because of that combination of you can always kind of see the next one and the fact that they're not quite even, it creates the impetus to keep scrolling because you see something new, right? You see another picture, another version of something, and you think it's really quite something cool that you should look at. Now, I have always felt that the Chinese menu website design is not very good in a philosophical way. And what I mean by the Chinese menu design is, any of you who've ever bought Chinese food, their menus are just packed with, and they're all the same, and it's kind of like what I'll describe as the square after square after square after square after square, which is what our website looks like right now, and as does everyone else's website. There are some slight variations on that, and I've been looking at a lot of different competitors who have different websites, not even competitors, some of them are totally unrelated, but other websites that try to do different things, try to break out of that. And there's not a lot of people that I found that I think do it well as far as an alternative, and there's not a lot of people that do an alternative, period. Almost all of them are built on this concept that when you land on the main page, there's a big hero image. You scroll down a little bit, there's either text or some trust badges, and then you scroll down a little bit further, and then there's like 4 pictures side by side, and they're either white background product pictures, or they're maybe collection, they're lifestyle photos, and they lead to different collections, and then you go a little bit further, and it's got more nurture, right? They're all functionally the same design. Now, that's a side effect, in my opinion, of Shopify, Wix, Squarespace, all of these website builders coming into existence because they inherently were built on blocks for the most part. Wix was a little more, you could build whatever you wanted, but it was still, technically speaking, somewhat blockish in the way that it was designed. And Shopify most certainly is built on blocks. In fact, the whole concept of Shopify design is that you have a page, and each page is made up of blocks that have certain properties to them, and they have different actions or views when you resize them to a smaller screen from mobile, but that's functionally the design of the website, which is why you can tell that a lot of these websites look the same because they're built on the same blocks. And that brings up a different problem for my philosophical idea, which would be, instead of landing, I mean, there might still be a hero image because people are so used to it that without it, it may cause people to immediately bounce off the page, although we'll probably A/B test that idea. But the idea in my mind of the best version of shopping is to mirror the experience of the social media platforms that many of us know and have a love-hate relationship with, to mirror the catalog experience, to mirror the browsing experience where you don't necessarily know what you want precisely. You're looking for inspiration. You're looking for something to reach out to you. Oh my goodness, that looks beautiful. That's exactly what I want my desk to look like. Wow, that looks amazing. That's exactly what I want to have in my hands, right? And part of this came to me, by the way, as I was working on uploading photos and things for the new Passport and A5 leather covers that we launched last week. I thought to myself, why am I not uploading the videos that we take and use as advertisements for these? And that kind of spiraled into me realizing that we have ad videos for most of our product lines. Now, some of them are a little bit older and they aren't correct anymore. I have a great video for the journal formerly known as composition cut. The problem is in the video, it calls it the composition cut when now it is actually called the ledger cut. So I can't find I have to go look for the original footage of that video and try to remake it without the words. So that's an example of things where there's out of date stuff. But for the most part, a lot of the videos we had, I was like, they can just be ported directly over. So now on our website, we've started to implement videos. We started to put videos in all of the product listings. And I'd like those videos to eventually be used on the main page as the website. And that kind of percolated and snowballed, as you can see, into the idea of, well, what we should really do is we should have a hero image that you land on, and then an image gallery below that, immediately below that. Maybe there'd be one set of text between it, but the image gallery, right? And the image gallery is of lifestyle shots of the products in a variety of settings, and it's a combination of images and GIFs, which are animated photos, and then actual videos. And you'd be able to click on them and see more, and they would lead you to the product page, and it would have a whole expansive thing, and we could build into that gallery links, blocks that take you to our materials and other things. And I think that's going to be the future of the website if I can pull it off. The problem is that it requires custom code. Now, to be honest, Meryl's been doing great learning code, but this is, I think, a little bit above her skill level currently, and I think it's a little bit above my skill level as well. I've done some back-end coding for our website, but this is a different bear altogether. Now, the good news is that the Shopify structure lends itself well to the idea that we could have someone custom write a section for us, a block that would have the images in it. And it would be like a large block that would just go for the whole website and would have, a lot of images put into it. And then we could take the code that they would write for us for that section, and theoretically, as long as we could design it this way, it could be relatively theme agnostic, which means that we can move it from place to place to place, and it could become something that is used in future websites, even as the technology that underlies the website might change. If we can pull that off, if we can get that designed, and I'm actually probably willing to spend a little bit of money on, considering while we could custom code this, it's going to take us a month and we don't have that kind of time. And also, I think that this is going to be something that would generate real revenue for us in even the short run. So trying to get it built out faster, I think, is more valuable to us. It also represents a shift, I think, in the way that people shop. I don't think it represents a shift in the way people shop philosophically. I think it just represents the way that they do it technically on websites. Now, there's a reasonable argument to be made, which is if this is a good idea, why doesn't, Target do it? Target spends millions, probably, hundreds of millions, tens of millions on their website design. They have the world's most brilliant UI and UX designers on their website team. Why haven't they done this? And that's a really good question. And I don't know the answer to it. Maybe this won't work at all. Maybe this is too different and people won't know what to do. Now, the thing that kind of, to me, acts as a bulwark against the major criticism of this, which is, well, what if someone knows what they want and they just want to go find that? How are they going to find that if they're scrolling through images? Well, fair enough. But that's where the menu comes into play, because our menu has been revised in the last week and a half and is far more explicit in what you're searching for. I think it's far better structured. I mean, you guys can go on the website and tell me what you think. But I think the new way that the website menu is designed makes it a lot easier if you're looking for something specific to find it. And anyway, that's what you would do if you were landing on the website under any circumstances, whether it was a Chinese menu block or this. You either way, you have to go look for it. We have a search bar at the top of our website. You can search for things. Right? So this is where I think there's a lot of upside potential to this. And I don't think it can do any worse than what we're currently doing. And we have a beautiful product. That actually is a big part of why we can pull this off. Because we manufacture this product from the raw material all the way to the finished good, boxed and sold, we have a lot of opportunity for excellent creative. In fact, we've got a lot of opportunity for creative that would be competitively unlikely to show up for competitors who are buying their products from places like Pakistan or overseas in India. People who buy overseas leather and make products from that and they ship it in, they never get to take photos of the process. They don't get to see the people making it. And we have that. So from a creative standpoint, I think turning our website into a more like a Pinterest gallery, I think would be a very, very effective solution. The downside, obviously, is loading speed, right? We can't have the website not load if you're on a mobile device and poor internet service. But that's a technical challenge that I think we can overcome because of a couple of advancements that have been made in web design, in HTML, in the last couple of years. Specifically, there's a new type of, so a little bit of details. When you upload images to websites, one of the most important elements of that is uploading the image in the correct size and the correct type. The reason why that matters is this: the camera that I'm filming this on generates photos that are 6,000 pixels by 9,000 pixels, a little bit over that, in design. It's 50 megapixel camera. Right, so it generates enormous images. Each of those images often are 30 plus megabytes of things, of space, right? To load that on an average internet speed would take seconds, like tens of seconds. It would take a long time to load that image. Particularly when you consider the fact that most web images are 100 kilobytes or less, and we're talking about 30 megabytes, right? So we're talking about a league of difference. The reason that we can get away with loading lighter images, though, is because most people aren't browsing on a screen that can manage that. So you end up getting into a situation where having a really, really, really large image isn't necessary. It doesn't bring anything to the table other than slowing your loading speed, because even if you had that incredible photo that is being taken in full resolution on your website, the phone's only going to render it with the screen dimensions, which are almost, they're always, usually the width is under 1,000 pixels, right? So one of the ways that we can solve the loading speed problem is developing a process by which whenever we generate creative, it goes through a process of review to make sure that it's either resized to a smaller, more optimized file size, or it's cropped in such a way that reduces its pixels. And then finally, it's to use the correct image compression system. And what I mean by that is JPEG is one of the oldest image files we have. I mean, it's not the oldest, but there's plenty of, it's really quite old. And so because it's very old, it's not necessarily the best way to optimize a compression ratio. And what I mean by compression is that there are ways to take images and shrink them in size from a computer standpoint that doesn't really lower their resolution very much. It's a clever bit of algorithmic work, but the new ones that's been around is something called WebP, .webp. That file type uses a much better compression ratio, which means that you can get files significantly smaller without losing the resolution to them. So my hope is that by using a creative process that inherently is built around reducing the image size without reducing quality, without compromising quality, keeping in mind the fact that most people are going to be viewing these images with a restriction on their infinite width, right? Even on a desktop, the image is only going to be a handful. There's going to be a couple of columns in width. So the image is going to max out at a specific width on both desktop and mobile. And so because of that, we should never be generating images that are wider than that for this purpose. It doesn't fit. And we're going to end up killing our site speed by doing it a different way. So having this be something we keep in mind as we're generating creative and as we're rendering the website creative into something we can use, I think will help us retain that site speed. And then obviously using things like lazy load, which basically says that if the image is not in the viewport of what you're looking at, right, whether that's on your desktop or on your mobile device, it doesn't load the image, not fully at least. It may load part of the image, or sometimes if you land on a website, you see that it'll load the image blurry, and then after a second, it makes it crystal clear again. Like it quickly loads a blurry version of the image and then cleans it up, right? That's a method by which the website can generate a very effective, it can generate an image that is quick loading while also high resolution. It just does it in a delayed fashion. And the other advantage of that, the reason for that, is it helps reduce your site instability, which is the fact where, let's say you go and you load a website and you go to click on a button, and then right as you're about to click on the button, a image loads above the text you're working on and the button moves, and you don't click on the button because it moved, right? That's site instability, and that can kill your SEO. Google hates that. And so that's where a lot of the images now, it's like we'll put in placeholders that are low resolution, blurry versions of the images that'll load very quickly. That means that even if you were to scroll down and the image were to load after the fact, it doesn't change the positioning of everything on the website. So by using lazy load images below the fold for us in this gallery and using optimized media, I think we can get by with having a site that doesn't load very slowly, but instead also can, showcase a lot of great imagery for the product. So honestly, this is a really cool technical change, I think, for us. I think it actually brings a lot of awesome opportunity to the table for some creative web design. And frankly, I think it'll make a more engaging website, which is always the goal. But it requires me developing it or somebody else developing the actual code behind the scenes to make it work. And who knows if that'll happen. So I do want to hear what your thoughts are this. If you went to a website where when you landed on the website, either it didn't have the hero image or it did, but immediately below that, it was a series of blocks of photos of the products. And when you clicked on them, they enlarged, or you went to the product page. Or and within those blocks, there was perhaps, links to our materials or our story and things like that within those. Would you find that to be an engaging website? Do you think you would enjoy browsing on that site? Do you think it would be more engaging or less engaging than the current website designs? And are there specific things about that design that you think are going to be potential problems for us that I should keep in mind as we're developing this? I want to hear from you guys. You guys are some of our best people to get feedback from. So please let me know in the comments below if you're watching on YouTube, or send us an email, sales@murdycreative.co, if you're listening on a podcast. Thank you for everyone who's tuned in today. Please be sure to tune in next week, Thursday, for more topics. And I want to hear from you. So please definitely comment, subscribe, comment. All of those things help us and with the algorithm, and they help with being able to get some information. So we want to share that. We want to have that conversation with you guys. If you have any issues with our product at all, please reach out to us either on the website, on the landing page, on the main page, or you can send us an email directly, sales@murdycreative.co, sales@murdycreative.co. You can also call us or text us at 414-434-9001. That's 414-434-9001. We're available Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Central Time, except for federal holidays. So we're closed on federal holidays. And so obviously, if you don't get a hold of us either during business hours or after hours, please do leave us a voicemail. We do call people back. So we appreciate those who've done that. If you think you deserve it, a good review can go a long way to help us grow, both a review on whatever podcast app you're listening on, as well as a review on the product if you have one. So please be sure to go to murdycreative.co/review to leave a review. You can also read our reviews there, or murdycreative.co/reviews, plural, to go and read our reviews on our website. We definitely appreciate that. Right now, it's currently going to Google for you to leave a review because we want to improve our SEO, and Google values companies that have a high trust rating, high review rating for product recommendations. So that obviously does help us there, and we appreciate those of you who've left a review. If you have podcast topics you want to hear more about, send them my way. I am looking for podcast topics to talk about. Obviously, trying to come up with something every week is something we do, so it's like, it's not the end of the world, but I want to hear what you guys want to hear about. So if there's something you want to know about with small business, ask me. I want to answer it. If you're looking for multiple items for gifts, giveaways, menus, really any reason, we have bulk discounts available built right into the cart. All you need to do is add everything to your cart. You can mix and match to your heart's desire. It's based only on the end quantity of the cart. Add everything to your cart and then hit checkout. It should automatically apply the discount in the cart still. So you don't actually have to hit checkout to see the bulk discount anymore. It starts at quantity 5 and it goes up from there. So be sure to check that out. If you want to hear more about that, send us an email. We're happy to talk to you about it. If you're looking to become a retailer, or if you have a local retail shop that you think our product would be a good fit in, please reach out to us. We are working on creating pilot programs for that. We've got some great opportunities there, and we are very curious to get started in on that. So please reach out to us with information. If you know of a local shop you think our products would be a good fit in, or you are a shop owner yourself and are potentially looking at carrying our products, we have some opportunities to get the process started with no cost to you. So please check that out. If you're looking for custom engraved items, we have no minimum order quantities and no setup fees. It's a simple flat fee, normally about $15, and it depends on the image size and complexity and how much of the cover it actually covers and all of those things. But once you go to our product pages, there's a blue Add Custom Engraving button. You click on that, it'll take you to the customizer. Once in your customizer, it's very important to select the variant you want. It does not remember what you chose on the prior page. So it's a circle with an exclamation point. You click on that and it'll take you to the variant selection. You can pick color, insert all of that, and hit OK. Once that's set, it should change the image you see on the main page from where you're editing. It should change that picture to whatever you've selected. So if it doesn't change, let us know, because that's probably a bug. But once you do that, you can upload images, you can add text, you can resize, you can rotate, you can do all sorts of great things with those images and make it exactly how you want it to be. And then you can hit add to cart. And we use the image that you create to make ours. Please note, we cannot do copyright images without protection, especially like permission, I should say, especially Disney, right? If you upload the Star Wars logo, we can't do that unless you have explicit written permission from Disney. Otherwise, that is a violation of copyright. And there are quite a few companies out there, Disney in particular, who are quite litigious about that issue. So please use images you have the proper permissions for, or obtain those permissions if you don't have them. You can ask. Sometimes they say yes, and we'd be happy to do it at that point. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Have a great day, and goodbye.